All right, we're online for the first time in like over a month. Yeah, so I've been gone, but I lived, thankfully. Truth be told, actually, things went pretty well, all things considered. But we're just gonna kind of keep going like nothing happened, because, you know. What's up, Hacks? Hope you're doing good. All right. So what this means is we are going to be doing just some in-betweening today. I don't know. I'll probably not go for too terribly long. I want to make Mondays kind of a stream day now. Since I have them off now. I was actually planning on streaming earlier today, but I ended up falling asleep. So I was like, well, that didn't happen. Hopefully next week I'll be a little less tired. Part of me wants to do... Maybe we just ignore... There's an in-between, so we don't have to worry too terribly much about that. As long as it just looks natural. Okay. Alright, so once again, we're putting this on thirds, which, you know, is always fun. Okay, so the real contact pose is actually here, because this just is like an emphasis frame. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but for now we're going to be working on this frame, which is just a nice simple extend. His head does drop a touch because he's leaning forward. You know, it's funny, I could probably just copy and paste the head, honestly. But, one, they still, for whatever reason, have not really learned how to do copy and paste in animation in the software. This is Clip Studio Paint. It's one of my favorite softwares. That being said, like I was saying, they still haven't quite figured out copy and paste for animation. It's a little jank. So I'm just gonna bring you back and tilt you forward. Oh, I need to bring you way back. Okay. Need to bring you out more. The other kind of unfortunate thing is I can't actually raster the frames. Truth be told, what I need to do is I need to stop doing rough animation in Procreate and then bring it into Clip Studio Paint. I need to just animate it all straight from Clip Studio Paint. And move this back a touch. Bring this in. Higher up. I want... Okay, so... This is just an extension, it's not the actual impact. I actually want to bias this towards the top a bit more. And then have it shift down a bit more. Forward more. Give it a little bit of impact. It's a shame because if I had been able to work on this month, at least this segment of animation would probably be done, including all the other frames that I have to do for Wicker still. He will have a little bit of more animation after the little bit that I animate, but hopefully it won't be too bad. And then I have a little bit more to do with another character. But again, shouldn't be too bad. Truth be told, I really do need to come up with a faster method, a like limited animation approach for the characters, just so I can crank through animation faster. There's little tricks that you can do to make it more efficient. But I'm not really doing those right now because I'm just kind of like... I want to like really kind of push the animation on this. It's not a terrible arc. Alright. I'm doing alright. Honestly, things are going pretty dang well. I'm just happy to be out of the hospital, honestly. So, that's nice. Back in action. Feels good to be streaming again, that's for sure. We actually want this. Like that. Yeah, pretty much. In theory, I could have been working in the hospital, but you know, when you're in a hospital, you're just kind of like, no, I don't want to do work. I'm actually really excited to get back to the Blind King. Probably gonna try to get back to that tomorrow and do a little bit of progress on that at least. But we'll see. Not even with just a cold, yeah. I did manage to get one frame done while I was in the hospital because I was chatting with a friend and she was animating, and I was like, you know what? If you're gonna animate, I'm gonna animate. So I got a little something done, at least. Tempted to actually turn this to make it a bit more of a whip. This foot here. Or a hoof. The heck? So about a little over a month ago, that was kind of funny. I had surgery, which was planned, and it actually went really well. However, the particular surgery has a tendency to have to develop issues in one of the particular surgery sites. And unfortunately, I was not so lucky as to avoid that. And so a wound developed on the surgery site, as well as a bit of an infection that had to be treated. And basically, I was in the hospital for wound care. It was just wound care, so it wasn't like I was really sick or like anything like really crazy or anything like that. But the problem was it was a particular wound that I couldn't really treat myself, right? It had to be kind of monitored, and just, you know, wounds take a long time to heal, and so truth be told, the wound actually isn't fully healed. So I've actually got a piece of equipment that's helping to treat the wound for the next probably like 5 weeks or so. It is what it is. Honestly, like I said earlier, I'm just glad that it really, like, all things considered, has gone really well. There hasn't been any like significant setbacks. It's been very like consistent in its healing. There hasn't been anything like crazy. Honestly, the hardest part, you know, being in the hospital is of course like just being really bored. So. It's just kind of annoying because, you know, you build up all that momentum working on stuff for so long, and then, you know, stuff like that comes along. But the nice thing is that once this is taken care of, I should be good to go for a while. I shouldn't really be, hopefully, cross my fingers on that one. But there shouldn't be anything that'll really like get in the way health-wise. Be nice. Yeah, a little machine that I gotta carry around with me everywhere I go. But the nice thing is I can still go to work with it, which I started a new job just this last week. And it's gonna be nice because it's gonna be a lot more consistent than my other work was. A lot more relaxed, won't completely wipe me out, and should give me a bit more time to, well, I don't know about a bit more time, but like I should be able to like more consistently put work into stuff, which is nice. So really looking forward to that. That foot isn't in the right spot. I'm actually going to turn this off. Okay, it comes forward too much. Yeah, it's going to be so nice doing something different for a change, because I've been doing the same thing pretty much for the past. Actually, I don't like how much that foot shifts back. I have to correct that. You know, it's not animation, which I guess in a way is the ultimate goal if I can get a job in animation one of these days, but not holding my breath with that, unfortunately. But for what it is, it's really fun. I get to mess around with the software I'm pretty familiar with, so definitely an upgrade, that's for sure. That kind of The draft? Are you talking the rough animation here? Also, hello, Kono. Hope you're doing well. There's a little shift there I don't like. I'm more inclined to change this foot around, because this is the in-between, technically. That's better. Although this... It's a little wobbly, but, you know, I want to get this done within this century, and I'm not getting paid, so... That's the nice thing about being your own boss with this kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, screw that guy. He's only going to get 80% today. He's a little wiggly, but he kind of a wiggly guy. It should work. And it's funny to think, because I still have, I can show it actually. I still have all of this extra animation to do after this is done here. It'll take a minute here. So I gotta do that. Which has some fun movement in it. I like the little overshoot on the hand. Alright, but we're not working on that right now. Instead, we're doing this segment. Who is this? Oh, it's Electric Children. Young Folks, 8-bit rearrangement. I've been listening to a lot of Electric Children lately. That's the artist of this song. Good stuff. Come on. There we go. Okay, I can almost just, like... I do, however, need to think through, because this is on a third. So when I say it's on a third, I don't mean threes. That's a different thing. What I mean to say is, so you have one frame here, right? And you have one frame here, right? And basically, I'm in betweening those, right? I'm taking that frame and I'm in betweening it. And basically, so typically you kind of want to avoid this if you can. But what that means is, since I'm animating on twos, that is 1, 2, then there's another frame. And so 1, 2, there's going to be another frame. Then 1, 2, we're back to our, keyframe. What that means is that there's 2 frames in between that need to be done. Therefore, it's the timing's basically cut into thirds. And so what that means is you have to think about like your timing in a kind of like awkward way. So instead of, I mean, technically, could I get away with? I mean, I could, probably. Because I'm looking at the arm, and my kind of concern is that the timing won't be right. Although, let me double check what the timing is. Well, how many frames do we have in between here? We have a lot of frames in between here, so actually, yeah, I do want to keep that timing. So you just want to kind of think through the flow of the animation a bit, because otherwise what can happen is, so for example, let's say, so we have the arm down here, right? And I'm trying to figure out where to put the arm, and let's go and turn this off. Let's say we didn't have that. Say we were trying to figure out where the arm is supposed to go. So we have these 2 reference points, and we're in betweening it, right? So if we put it like right in the middle, like right here, that works. And this isn't going to look great, but yeah, we put it right in the middle. Well, now we need to think, okay, well, it's right in the middle, but we still have one more frame to do right here. So now, if we do it in the middle, essentially between this and this, right, it's going to barely move, right? But then we need to take into account, okay, so it's going to barely move, but is that going to flow well into this pose? And it actually might, because this is such a little movement, right? Like this pose to this pose is such a little movement, and we have like something like 3 more frames to do. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. So like 3 more frames. So like it's gonna just really ease into that. So it'll probably work if we do that. I probably am gonna go like right in between. But you just want to be aware of that, because otherwise what you'll get is spacing that like will jump further than it should and then slow down, and it'll look really jerky. That's how you get like really jerky bad movement. Sometimes that's what you want. Sometimes you want that kind of herky-jerky kind of movement, as if like the muscles or ligaments or something like that aren't working properly, right? In like a creature or character or something like that. But for like natural, just general movement, you want to be aware of that. You want to be intentional about it, essentially. That's kind of the key. Ultimately, like that's the way to think about things. It's not necessarily right or wrong. It's, are you developing an intention with it, right? Are you being intentional about your movement, or are you just kind of like not caring, right? Sometimes you have happy little accidents, right? Like you do something and it works out, and then you learn from that. Sometimes you just make stuff that looks terrible, and that's okay, because it's going to happen, and then you get better. What's that? Oh, disaster piece? Really? So the same people who did the soundtrack to Hyper Light Drifter, and possibly Hyper Light Breaker. I don't know. I don't know if Disaster Piece came back for that one. Let's go with that. This like that. Oh. Let's go ahead and turn. Actually, I don't know. I'm actually okay with the wrist being a little too straight, because that will be addressed in the next frame. Actually gonna do a bit of a I actually might shrink the pencil down just a touch. Give myself some more clarity in the lens. actually double check that with the... This hand's a little different than I went with, so I'm kind of animating it just like on feel within the rough, kind of changing it up. Which I try not to do, but I kind of screwed this hand up, so kind of have to. Let's see if we can't. And this is a cover. So tonight, I usually am listening to Krellas, but unfortunately, it seems like Krellas is offline. Bit of a shame. Hopefully they're back online sooner than later, but for now, we're listening to Chiptune FM. So, if you want some good chiptune music, they've got a live stream going as well. Maybe a little bit more out. Something like that. This needs to be a touch lower as well. Come on. Technically it wouldn't be this low. Oh well. I'm just kind of checking the movement, make sure that it's looking good. There's some little pops and stuff like that in there, but generally speaking, I'm pretty happy with how it's coming out. Good control overall. I'm actually gonna I'm going to change that, because that doesn't really make a lot of sense. So we're actually going to and subsequently okay. Probably should show a little bit more, but then that kind of takes away from the clarity of that hand. Honestly, just in general, there's a little bit of clarity missing in that hand, but that's alright. I mean, it's not, but we're gonna pretend it is. That's the secret. Just pretend like it's okay. Fix it in post. That doesn't cause problems and headaches later. Fix it in post. Now I need to do the eyes, and we're still a little narrow. Honestly, I need to annihilate just a river in Egypt. Bro, call me a crocodile because I'm living in denial. Back. Let me see if I can get this working. There's a way to get this to actually take. Yeah, there we go. All right. Oops. That's not right. His head is weird. He has a weird head. It's my fault. I gave the lad a weird head. Yeah, he needs something here. So I'm doing a little bit of place and trace. I need to kind of... I'm actually going to turn it off for now. Technically, it's not place and trace. Place and trace is a specific technique that involves... it's more for in-betweening. Which, yes, I know I'm in-betweening, but I mean like directly like used in between. Future Borkona, funny enough that you mentioned that. My brother came across that not too long ago, and he really enjoys it. He really likes the kind of boyish adventure that it is. You know, it's a very charming series. So he showed me a few episodes, and yeah, I actually quite like it. I think it's very charming and just like the simple, fun story. Very endearing characters. I don't know, it's nice to see something like that. I feel like we've kind of lost that amidst the just murk and mire of like making everything so like tragic, you know. And it's not to say like, because like the story like has its like elements, like serious elements to it, like, you know, with the whole setting and everything like that being kind of this almost like dystopia kind of thing, right? And you have like this, you know, evil army and whatnot, but it never feels like it's kind of like indulging in like pity or something like that. At least the episodes that I saw. That's another series that's like really fun to watch, despite like, you know, the animation being really simple and everything. You know, you don't need like crazy Sakuga like nutso stuff going on all the time. Just sometimes you just need an endearing character and a fun world. So in short, yes. Yes, I have seen at least part of Future Boy. Conan. Oops. Well, it's not even nihilism, like being overtly psychological even has become kind of a pandemic among writers. I feel it's kind of weird. What's funny is, you know, like looking back at my stuff, I was kind of falling into that trap as well when I was younger. To some degree, you know, you kind of like think, oh, I gotta raise the stakes, I gotta like make it more significant, I gotta like do this, that, or the other thing, and then like pretty soon, what it really ends up doing is just kind of warping. Like I really started to notice it started to really warp my stories away from what I actually wanted them to be in the first place. So I took a step back and was like, you know what, like, nah. I'm just gonna focus on making the story what it needs to be first, and then worrying about like communication of the characters after. So that's why, like, with the Monster Kids, you know, there's nothing too serious that ever really happens. It sometimes might feel like that, you know, but the whole point is that it's from the perspective of these kids, and so something that might seem like really big and imposing and like scary or whatever, ultimately ends up not being, you know, what they think it is, because, you know, they're just kids. Simplicity is beauty. One of my favorite quotes, quote the legend and perhaps genius Terry Davis: an idiot admires complexity, a genius admires simplicity. Words to live by, honestly. For those who don't know, Terry Davis was the one who wrote Temple OS. And if you don't know what that is, oh boy, that's a whole rabbit hole. It actually is a really fascinating story, very tragic, very sad, ultimately. Because it essentially was a personal project, I guess you could call it, of a guy by the name of Terry Davis, who, by all accounts, was a very, like, unique thinker in the computer science space. Like, I mean, he built a doggone operating system himself, you know? But the problem was that he suffered from pretty severe schizophrenia. And it, you know, something like that can really affect you. And obviously it really affected him. And he just, for one reason or the other, couldn't get the help he really needed. Funny enough, the statement itself is simple. Yeah, no, that's the thing, right? Things that are simple are where the true genius lie, right? Okay, so that frame is done. It would make me using them more simple too. Well, see, here's the problem. Is like basically what we've done with computers and what developers have done with computers is that they've taken on I call it the Apple effect, where basically like everything is so stripped back, right? Which you would think it would make it simple, but I'll get to that. Everything's so stripped back that it doesn't actually communicate what's happening, right? And so you wind up having to learn an entire language, and that's why it's not simple. You have to learn an entire language of function for the design, just in order to interact with it, right? So rather than simplifying it, what they've done is they've created this convoluted language that you have to actually understand. All the while, the computer is trying to act in the background in what it thinks your best interest is, right? It's so annoying. Like, that's where stuff has been headed for a long time, right? And it's like, no, I don't want the computer, like, deciding for me. Like Apple's the worst. Like, iPads are the worst about this, where they will, like, hide where they are storing data. So like you could have like a file somewhere and you know you've saved it, but unless you use their specific application to retrieve it, right, within their ecosystem, within the application's ecosystem, then it's like, oh yeah, good luck, because it's buried in some subfolder of some subfolder of some subfolder, hidden away probably because you're not meant to get to it. And it's like, no, I just want to get to my file. I just want to be able to take that file and do something with it. Stuff like that. I hate stuff like that, right? So it tries to disguise its complexity, right? But all that ends up doing is just handicapping you half the time. It's like, just show me the file. Like, I will organize it myself. Okay. I actually need to bring this out. But yeah, that's kind of the interesting thing about, like, I've watched people mess around with Temple OS, and they're like kind of blown away by like the convenience of like certain attributes of it. They're like, oh my gosh, that's so simple. That's so like easy to do, like the really basic like coding stuff, which is a little bit over my head because I'm not like an actual programmer, but still, like you get, and I get a sense from their like response and stuff like that it's like, this just works. It's super weird, it's like off kilter, and you look at it and you're just like, what am I looking at? But then like you kind of peel back the layers and you kind of understand what Davis was going for. It's like, oh wait, there was a like conscious like concept behind this. Yeah, the really good video is Down the Rabbit Hole's Temple OS video. Like I said, very tragic story, but kind of like, I don't know, informative in just like, I was really surprised at just like the person behind the operating system and stuff like that. Like, there was a really profound moment in the video where essentially he kind of seemed to have this moment of lucidity where he recognized that there was a kind of something wrong, essentially, right? But like he wasn't seeing the world almost how he should, or understanding it how he should. And it was like, that was kind of like just really interesting, because it's like, you know, you usually, you know, the way that like psychological issues or, you know, mental illness is portrayed is it's very like how do you put it? Like the person is completely engulfed in their mental illness, if that makes sense. But it's like, okay, you got to remember, like, it's a human brain, right? Like, it's trying to function still. You know, there's like, they're still human, right? Like, at the end of the day, right? Which is obvious, but like, isn't presented in that way a lot of times. At least in my experience and what I've seen and whatnot. And so seeing someone like, who, and the thing, a big part of it is like you see a lot of like his thoughts and stuff like that, like he live streamed and whatnot. And so you like, it wasn't like clinical, it was just really like honest. It was like right there, you know? So it's kind of interesting. But that's kind of why I have like a rule in my writing. I don't diagnose my characters because one, I'm not a doctor, or a psychiatrist or anything like that. So why would I? You know, how would I, right? But on top of like the more important aspect of it is the second that you, like, I feel like the second that you diagnose your character, that's all they become. It's like you're writing, oh, from the like they're such and such, right? So I need to portray them in this way. It's like, oh, I don't care about that. I'm just gonna write a person, right? And if that person behaves a certain way, I'm gonna write them as they behave. And if that coincides with something, then okay, that's coincidence. You know, if it's relatable, then it's relatable. I don't know. I'd rather just focus on writing people. This horn. I gave him all the fun things to draw. You know, a hood, hooves. Friggin', he has a wing. Although the wing isn't too bad. The wing, like, I do in another thing. Another pass. Like, he's a really fun character to draw and animate because he has so many little attributes to him, right? Because he has a little, like, tailing, like, thingy. Okay, so, I'm actually gonna do that. Oh, come on. Oh, light table. Okay. So... why am I not seeing it? Yeah. There it is. Okay. I don't know why it disappeared, but it did. Okay, so... okay, so, and this... I'm just gonna turn you on. This is actually an impact frame. So... how do I want to do this? Part of me wants to do this as a little bit of like a lurch, Let me see what the... Actually, no, I don't want to do a lurch. I want to actually do a delay. So he's going to plop his foot down, then he's going to like drop down. So what that means is we're actually going to bias towards this frame. So I had the right idea. And yeah, okay. So about, I'm going to turn you off up here. Probably also, just for the smoother transition, widen the hood. Hey, what's up there? Dope. Dope stuff. Hope you're doing well. I'm gonna pay particularly close attention to this frame because it needs to be right. So that could be a bit of work here. Oops. So typically I don't do essentially what is a onion skinning. In this case, I'm just getting it's because it's so close that I'm kind of using it for the hood. But my main focus for animating is flipping. That way I'm always constantly checking the motion. So for example, this motion doesn't look quite right. And in fact, it really doesn't look right. Onion skinning is, I can actually show it real quick. So if we go over here, you can't really see it on the screen, but there's a setting, actually it's on the timeline. Right here, you'll see enable onion skin. And what this does is this, that's kind of funny. Not sure why it doesn't select. All right. Anyway, hello, Billy. But basically, so onion skinning. So if you see, like, I don't know why it's being funny, but usually some of the frames it's not showing properly. But you'll notice you have one frame and then you have another frame. So this is the previous frame. This is the next frame, and it's really common to take. In digital animation, take animation and for in-betweening, turn on onion skinning and just like in-between. So literally just start drawing at the in-between, right? And that's appealing because it's like, oh, I just need to draw a frame in between. I can see exactly where the lines are, and then I just have to put the object in between it. The problem with that, onion skinning has its place. It's really good for certain things. But the problem with it is like, so looking at, let's say, can I find a good example? I wonder if I can just, nah. I would have to blank the frame out. So if I blank it really fast, okay. So I'm gonna ask you guys, what is the motion that happens between these two frames? If you were just to see these two frames, and I were to ask you, and you hadn't seen the previous frame, what is the motion that needs to happen between the two of them, right? What's the actual spacing that needs to happen? Onion skinning does not tell you that. Onion skinning only tells you, here's what the previous frame is, here's what the next frame is. And so what that does is that it forces you to focus on the lines rather than the volumes or the movement, right? So instead, what I do is I do flipping, and it takes a little bit of practice and like kind of getting used to. But when you start getting better at it, your movement really improves because you're actually paying attention to the movement. You're actually, I'm noticing, okay, so it's dropping down, we have the right timing that I'm looking for, all that kind of stuff. Billy, I'm older than you. We're gonna get you on stream. We gotta see them Billy, those copyrighted trademark special Billy Bob Secrets drawing that you're always talking about. Oh, come on. There we go. Oh, come on. Having a hard time. I miss Krellos. The Picasso of indie drawing. Yeah, it's funny. I'm a surrealist, at least to some degree, in my art. But I'm not a big Picasso guy. Tiffany FM's pretty good too. Yeah, that's what we're listening to right now. So far, it's been good. But it's been having some lagging issues, which is a little bit funny. And for once, we're not dropping frames. We're not dropping frames, everybody. That's not gonna last. I'm gonna log in tomorrow and I'm gonna be dropping like 25% of my frames. It's gonna be fantastic. Can't wait for that to happen. But for now, we're not dropping any frames. If it's a drum paper. I mean, drawing pads are getting cheaper and cheaper by the day, it seems. Enjoy it while it lasts, yes. Yes, people. Enjoy actually smooth frame rates while they last, because goodness knows, probably isn't. I'm probably going to log in tomorrow, because I am planning on streaming tomorrow. I want to keep up streaming on Tuesdays. Although, I'm thinking I'm also going to stream on Mondays, since I consistently have Monday off. Depending on how I feel, I may just make my Tuesday streams Monday streams. But I do like the idea of doing more streams as well. Anyway, but yeah, I'm probably going to log in tomorrow, and that's not going to be the case. So, you know, enjoy while you can. But yeah, if you ever want like a good recommendation on a drawing pad, because like honestly, I recommend if anyone even has a passive interest in drawing digitally, that they look into getting like a cheap little drawing pad, and then downloading like Krita or something, Fire Alpaca or whatever, right? Blender even, and just have some fun. Let's double check you. Yeah, that's about right. I think that's about correct. I actually, I want to arc it down just a touch more. That's better. It's all about those little microscopic changes, man. Just the smallest things make the biggest difference in animation. Kind of funny. What's the normal price for a drawing pad? If you're on the cheaper side, like smaller side, like 50 to 100 bucks. If you want something more like mid-size, that can be around like 200, 400. If you want to get into an actual drawing tablet, like what I have, like the Cintiq 16, that's ranging anywhere from about 400 to, you know, 3,000, you know, if you go really big. Introductory is about 400 to 600 though. Maybe a little bit less. There's some models that are a little bit cheaper than that for like tablet drawing, like 200 to 400. It's about the same range as the mid-sized drawing pads. But yeah, if you want just a really simple, like, introductory drawing pad that you can kind of mess around with, 50 to 100. Maybe even a little bit cheaper if you go, like, really cheap. My very first drawing pad was a bamboo capture. I've actually got it, yeah, I had it out, but not anymore. Meaning it's like slightly tucked away. Got 2 nickels and a pack of gum. Huey on. A lot of people swear by Huey on, but I don't really care for Huey on myself. At least the one drawing pad that I use, or drawing tablet rather. It was a 16-inch, and it just had problems. It's also really thin, which I didn't care for. At the same time, if you have like a decent iPad lying around, the pens cost. You can get the pen for about $100. I will say the drawing pads do take a little bit of time to get used to. I drew on an actual pad for about 8 years. Is it that long? No. When did I got my first one in 2013? I want to say 2013, 2014. Got a bamboo tap. Hey, get that sucker out and plug it in. Well, actually, unfortunately, a lot of the older bamboos don't work with Windows 10 as well. They're not supported anymore. I don't think my capture works on Windows 10 anymore. Give it a shot, though. Drawing's fun. It has an install disk, you don't know? I mean, you can probably find the drivers out on their site if they're around. Because, yeah, I bought my first one back in 2013. Trying to pronounce the Berserkers. I wish I could. But I know for a fact that would get friggin' dinged. Because anything by a Japanese artist, like, pretty much without exclusion, unless it's like video game music, right, is gonna get dinged. Like, that's basically what I've concluded. There just isn't any way that Susumu Hirasawa is not gonna get dinged on YouTube. Otherwise, I would listen to Susumu Hirasawa a lot on stream. Based on the lack of disc trays, yeah. I mean, you can get a USB disc tray for like $15 or something like that, but those are kind of annoying. See people always post and use it. Yeah, but it's like, it's rarely like the whole song. Unless it's on like a video, and even then. I mean, I could try. Just nuke my channel. Put your glasses on. Yeah, what? Yeah, Pen Pals was the name of that band. That's so funny, man. I remember the first time I watched that, like, the first episode of that anime, and that comes on. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing intro. I will say though, man, Susumu Hirasawa is probably like one of my favorite musical artists of all time. You mean the Guts theme? Yeah, no, I know. Dude, I'd be playing Earth. That's an amazing song, man. Or Forces. Forces and Earth are probably like the best songs from that soundtrack. But even like his other work, like I don't like the movie really. The movie kind of sucks, honestly, in my opinion. But the soundtrack is amazing. Paprika. Parade. That song is so cool. Like it just has such a surreal quality to it. The opening will definitely get a copyright claim. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing about it is, it's like, it comes down to the way that, like, I don't like how far out this shoulders. It comes down to the way that, like, Japanese media works. And it's, I mean, it's similar in concept to, like, over here, where you have like the record label, right? Because usually, like, very rarely is the artist like going around like maliciously like clasping his fingers and going, I'm going to copyright strike everything, you know. It's usually the publisher, right? The record label or whoever. Got Vintus in me? Oh boy. But yeah, no, Forces. Forces is really good. No, he has some other really good ones. Just in his like solo albums, just his albums in general are really good. Let's bring that into touch. Is it called King's Road? That one's really cool. I will say, so there's a mod for Skyrim that allows you to add custom music. And I added two things to that. One, of course, was Susumu Hirasawa. So a bunch of his tracks, Forces for like battle themes, Earth for like wandering around, Guts theme for Guts theme has an actual name, I'm pretty sure, for the song. I can't remember what it is, dang it, because it's always referred to as Guts theme. But like yeah, a bunch of Susumu Hirasawa, right? But the other thing I added was Lorn, Lorn, which I've listened to on this channel, on these streams, and that was perfect for like caves and stuff like that. Like, oh my gosh, it was so perfect. It honestly made the game like 10 times better just having that music. Because like, I'm gonna be honest, the Skyrim soundtrack it's fine, but I don't know, it doesn't really stand out to me all that much. Like, there's no track in it that I'm just like, oh man, that is like Oblivion had like tracks like that, like Ariel Rising is like amazing, right? Morrowind had some alright tracks. I would honestly like say Morrowind was more iconic than the Skyrim soundtrack. Like, the Skyrim soundtrack is recognizable, but it's like I don't really care to listen to it. You know what I mean? Yeah, Thrones. Next time you play Skyrim, man, get that mod. Throw in some Susumu Hirasawa. Just like goat it down, man. Honestly, adds so much to the experience. It's just called Gatsu, apparently. Really? Huh. I thought I had a different name, but I guess that is all I've ever seen it referred to as. Huh. It's funny. Another 934. This will probably be my last frame that I do for the night. I'm actually gonna... that should be fine. Last frame. Hello, Nuke. Yeah. Last frame for the night. A final frame, if you will. Is that the name? Am I thinking of... I'm thinking of Fatal Frame. That's one you should get, Nuke. You got $200 to drop on a survival horror game for the PS2? So crazy how much those go for. It'll be the fatal frame of this stream, that's for sure. Hopefully it's not a fatal frame. Hopefully. I'm gonna have to move his hand a little bit closer. Honestly, Final Frame sounds like some kind of mech game or something like that. Kind of not a bad name for a mech game. Probably already exists. Prophecy for Unreal Engine 5 games. Yeah, apparently. Not a bad name for a mech game. Yeah. Okay, I gotta look it up. Because I feel like... Okay, it's an anime. Okay, got it. Or, hold on. Oh no, that's Fatal. Okay, Fatal Frame, Final Frame. I think it is like a mech anime or something like that. Nah, murder mystery visual novel, apparently. Oh, and apparently some kind of AI video generator. Okay, whatever. I knew I heard it somewhere, but yeah, no, Final Frame is apparently some kind of like visual novel. Alright, well. Would be better if it was a mech game, I'm just saying. Dang it, speaking of mech games, I have been needing to sit down and play Zone of the Enders 2. I beat the first one. I gotta sit down and play that, dang it. Wasn't it a game where you take... No, that's Fatal Frame. That's the joke we were making earlier. So yeah, you have Fatal Frame, you apparently have Final Frame, is a thing. And then... Yeah. Well, that sounds like the same sound font as Super Mario 64. Sound font? Yeah, it's typically used in the context of like older games and such like that, because essentially like the most common use of it is like for the N64 and whatnot, where you have, because obviously like loading MP3s or whatever audio format was really like not space aware, right? So instead, of course, what you do is you basically do MIDI kind of, you know, it's like MIDI where you just have a controller that tells, okay, play this note on this sound chip at this time, right? And so back in the day, obviously on like the NES, it wasn't really sound fonts per se, because essentially it was actually like programming the sound chip. It was more synthesis than a sample, right? But as, you know, space got a little bit more available, they started adding like samples that then they would just pitch up and down and do the same thing with that, and then that became a sound font. Future Cop Belly BD, nice. 4 out of 6 games. 80. But yeah, I don't know if it's like original, like a term that was originally used in that context back when, you know, games were developed in that fashion. But it's become a modern term at the least, because people have started like playing around with like doing covers in different sound fonts. So like, you know, the Ocarina of Time sound font, or the Mario 64 sound font, stuff like that. It's probably become a lot more prevalent since ROM hacking has become a lot more accessible in the past few years. And so people have actually been developing covers and original music a lot more for ROM hacks. I mean, it's so funny how many times, like I'm gonna be honest, I think that the Woods theme from Super Mario RPG is overrated because everyone puts it in every ROM hack ever, at least once, somewhere. It's like we've got to have like more than just one forest theme that we can like pull from, right? Okay, so we're more or less going to be landing exactly where this hoof is. Oops, we're not inking. And I'm actually gonna give a little bit of squash, just a touch, not quite that much, because I want it to kind of have to bounce back. Quite that much. I will say this channel tends to have a little bit more like dubby stuff on it. Which I'm not crazy about dub stuff, but not terrible. Still definitely feels chippy enough to be fun. That's what we want. We want just a touch of... Yeah. Honestly, I was kind of sick of it by the time I was, like, pretty much from the beginning. Because, man, was it popular back when I was in high school. For like 3 years, you know? Then everyone realized, oh wait, there's just straight up better electronic music out there. That's what I realized. I was like, oh hey, electronic music can be cool. And funny enough, it was sort of chiptune that kind of broke me into it. But specifically like bit pop, what was referred to as bit pop back in the day. Through like Dunderpatrullen and Runecraft and all the Swedish bit artists prefer beatboxing. Every time I think of beatboxing now, I think of that one episode of Samurai Champloo where the guy starts beatboxing into the hilt of his sword. I haven't seen Men in Black 2 in so long. For example, yeah. You say that, Billy, like I'm gonna remember the last time. It's like been 20 years since I've seen that movie. It's gonna be kind of tricky, isn't it? Simple link. All right. I'll check that out later here. That's one thing that's kind of fun with him is like he's all like wobbly, just like he's got like sand, you know. He doesn't have bones in like his body. He's got bones in his legs, but his body is just like sand and smoke. So he kind of shifts around funny. The hand definitely shifts around in size a bit, which is not great. Honestly, the hand is probably what I screwed up on the most, because I didn't actually draw it out in the rough. All right, I think that's that for now. All right. Let me go ahead. Let's play the whole thing, because it has been a while since I watched the whole thing. What do we have so far? this is cool. Oh, Danimal Cannon, yeah. Danimal Cannon's a classic. Alright. Yeah, no, that's kind of long. I still really like that hop. There technically is a frame I'm missing that I could put in. I'm tempted to. It's a little bit of an extra dip on a 1. A couple more. What the which one? Because there's a few of them now, Billy. We have just a really quick sketch of Wicker. We have Long Guts. We have our Speed Otter. And I find it really funny because like as it flashes by, it actually kind of looks like a chart is popping up. So it's like, oh, is that a chart? And then you pause it, it's just the stupid otter. So Long Guts, you want more Long Guts? I'll have to animate Long Guts. That wouldn't be very hard. It's like 2 frames, just him going up and down like an idle pose. Remind me next time, I'll do that. But for now, it's getting late. I do have work tomorrow. I actually will animate Long Guts like that. Okay. But that being said, I will be back tomorrow, hopefully. Depends on how tired I am, but I'm planning on streaming tomorrow. I shouldn't be wiped out tomorrow. I should be able to get a little bit of streaming in, have some fun. That being said, I am going to... What am I going to do? I'm probably going to do more of this. I might do some work on the Blind King because it's been for freaking ever, and I still have not gotten through line work. I still have like 5 pages to do, or like 6 pages to do on that last part of chapter 3, and it's driving me crazy because I'm like so close, you know, so close to having that chapter done. So yeah, I really want to make some more progress. I'm just kind of like scared because it's been so long, and like unfortunately I didn't stop at a convenient place. It's gonna be rough getting back into that, but I gotta do it. I gotta get back into it. Get back to work. Lay off me, Billy. Alright. Nah, for real though, I do need to get back to work. That being said, I am going to be working tomorrow. So, I'm going to try to stream at 6. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. And I'll probably do like a couple hours tomorrow. So 6 to 8 is what I'm planning. And then, yeah, that'll be it. So, until next time, guys, thank you guys so much for stopping by. It was actually really nice to get a nice little stream in after so long. Lots of people stopped by, it looks like. So, really appreciate that. So, I'll be back. Expect more streams in the near future. And yeah, hope to see you then. Goodbye.